Welcome back to Leon's Garage. In this episode today, you guys are gonna be figuring out my first major breakdown. I've had two other smaller ones, which I'll get to in the video, as well as this major breakdown that I'm currently in. And there's so many ways to look at it, but like, it's so crazy. It's like, just no matter what bad happens, and like, yeah, I did get lucky with the situation I'm in now. It's all about the way you look at it. So if you want to find out about how I feel on 4 weeks into my hotshotting career, on if I regret owning a 6.0 or not, stay tuned for the video. All right, so today, guys, we'll be talking about this breakdown we have today. It's kind of crazy how everything panned out in a way, because all things kind of led to, me being able to be right next to a shop under an enclosed building. Well, not enclosed, but a covered building, so I didn't have to work out in like the direct sun. It was hot, but let me tell you, sunlight versus blocked, game changer, especially in Florida. So I'll walk out here in a second, but pretty much start out the week Monday. I was gonna go pick up the load. Had these two good paying loads. Wasn't heavy. So I do need to get bags as well, because I need to start investing in 3 vehicles, but low key, it's good for the truck that I'm only doing 2, just so I can see what's gonna go wrong, because something's gonna go wrong. You have to know it and understand it getting into this hotshot business if you're gonna use a used truck. There's 2 options, it's new or used. Now I picked the used route, and that's what this video is about, because today I'm about to be spending a lot of money to fix this truck. So it's the name of the game. It comes to the territory. If I got a new truck, would this happen? Nobody knows. And if somebody tells you, oh, it's new, it's not gonna break, they're just lying to you, and they just want your money. You can't tell me something new versus something old, one's gonna last longer. There's more of a reputation for one side or the other, but there's outliers to everything. So that included, you shouldn't just assume because I'm getting at 80K, I'm gonna have no problems, when nobody did maintenance or the majority of the maintenance for 80,000 miles, and then it all piles up into one thing, and you bought yourself a $30,000 truck. Like, things can happen, and like, these might be crazy stories, but things can happen. So I decided to pick a truck that has had the mileage, and even in my case, used it for what I'm using it now, which is to haul cars. He had a 3-car trailer, he upgraded to a 4-to-5 trailer, and he wanted a dually rear end. Makes sense. Do you know what other truck he bought? Another 6.0. So, and this is the guy, I think he's had it for 60, 80K miles. He bought another 6.0 for a reason. He probably likes the way they pulls. It has great power. When everything works with these motors, and yeah, everybody says it's a big if, but still, even then, it's like, biggest preference, and you'll see here in a minute what happened, because it's no joke. The biggest thing is, if you don't know if you're not mechanically inclined, you don't gotta be a diesel tech. I'm not a diesel tech by any means. I can build a car. Diesels is kind of on the unknown territory for me, and I'm learning 5 things new every day. Like, with anything in life, it's usually like you learn something new every day. That saying, it's a true saying. But with diesels, like, I'm just so new that, man, I've been watching power-driven podcasts, like hours upon hours, because I have time on the road, just filling my head. I may not pay attention to every word, but just filling my head with this knowledge, and maybe I use it one of these days. You never know. It comes into the brain somehow. Where did I learn this from? Oh, probably this podcast. And so, but this is not about this. This is about this current breakdown, because yeah, stay tuned to the end if you want to get my honest opinion on if I regret making this decision. So, all right, so if you guys, you may see in the background, but yeah, we got this thing taken apart. And again, I'm not a diesel mechanic by any means, but if you're going to get a 6.0, and especially to do to haul cars, to haul freight, whatever, you best be mechanically inclined, because something is gonna go wrong. It's just the nature of the game. They're 20 plus years old. Same thing with the Cummins of that generation. Like, things are gonna go wrong. People say, yeah, the Cummins motor is known to be more reliable, but does that mean nothing happens to them? No, it just maybe less times, and there's less things to look at, you know, less I guess problems to be wrong. But you know, those have those cons as well. Like, you know, the 12 valves, they're real lazy. Yes, you can do a tune turbo, and you know, I tend to talk down on a Cummins, and I've never owned one personally, but I'm personally just sick and tired of the whole just like overhype this engine. I'm not saying the Cummins are bad, but yo, these people are like, dude, the Cummins never break. You can do anything to them. And you talk to some people and it's like, you know, Dodges have problems at 20, 30K when they're new. So, and it seems to always still be transmission problems, which is interesting. And you got your good years, but you just have, just like the Fords, you have your good years for the Fords. You know, I have an early-ish model. I say that because it's like kind of the in-between baby. It was like right before they started the new parts for the 03, 04, and some of the 05s, and they had more parts for the 05, 07. Just not more parts, just revised parts per se. And again, I may be wrong on some of these things. You can comment down below what I am. I don't knock myself that I know everything. Let me close this door so we can take off the battery. And yes, I know you guys are trying to see what went wrong, so I guess right now I will show you. I'll give you the gist of it. So I was about to go pick up my first car, and then I had this like sluggish problem. In the past, I replaced my exhaust back pressure sensor, and I also just did the VGT solenoid because that's the only part of the system besides turbo that I haven't replaced for how this Powerstroke sees boost through the engine. Quickly, if you don't know, there's 3 parameters it needs. It needs exhaust back pressure, it needs the duty cycle from the VGT, as well as the map sensor. All 3 of these correlate, and then it figures out the fuel and the boost through that. I don't know in depth more about it. So 2 of those I've done replaced. It's still pretty much doing the same thing. The weird part was, if like right now, if this thing wasn't apart, if I were to go and drive it, it would drive just fine. This morning, it had no issues for about 10 minutes. Once it got warm, it pretty much, the veins got stuck closed. They would never like open back up to supply like that power, because it closes it to build the turbo faster. You make more back pressure, but you have no high end, and it opens up to get high end. When it's open, you lose the low end. So if you didn't know, honestly, the reason why I like the Fords, I had this problem and I could pretty much barely go anywhere. When it's closed, it's dangerous because you build a lot of boost, but the engine doesn't use it. So you have your EGTs go through the roof if you're not careful. Because you can, people I've heard easily build over 30 pounds. I only got to 22 and I was like, yeah, this is too much for how much throttle input I was getting in. So at that point, done the VGT solenoid. And beforehand, I saw online that if you unplug it, but see, this is why I'm not sure. But at this point, I mean, it is a lot of money that I'm about to spend. Pretty much, if you unplug it and it opens up, the vanes are currently working. And that's what I did, because I unplugged it and then it went from closed to always open. So I had no low end. You don't really get much high end, but you just hear the growl more often. It doesn't even build really any boost. It's pretty much like all motor. Oh, we're speaking of which, shout out to the guy I was able to park my trailer over there. So pretty much I had put another VGT solenoid in it. It had cooled off to the point where I could still do it. So when I plugged it in, it did its whole cycling thing. You know, the guy said, you're good. And I was like, yeah, it's good. Seems to be working. Pulled off, no problems, no issues. I get back on the highway, 10 minutes in, does the same thing. Gets stuck, closed. I was like, you're absolutely kidding me. So, but it's the guy here, shout out to this guy. He's a solo owner. He has a shop. He works on actually big rigs though. That's why he built this pylon, because he can't put semis in that building. But he's mainly like a big heavy duty guy, so he hasn't worked with too many 6.0s. But I asked him, I was like, hey man, I was like, if possible, could I be able to do this work, or I could save you some work and honestly save me some money, that I will just take apart the turbo and then show you the turbo and see what you think, see if it's cleanable or see if it's not. So as you can see, that is what we did. I know this is, but yeah, it's right there. There's that new solenoid. The problem right here is the reason why I don't want to use this, because it may be cleanable, but if you see here, let me see if I can use it right here. It has, trying to get you guys to see a video of it, but see that movement right there? Oh, crap. All right, you guys take my word for it. Hold on, actually. See that movement? See how that right there? Look right in that corner. See how you can move it? See how there's a gap? No gap, gap, no gap. Well, that's like shaft play, and you're not supposed to have that. It's also true authentic Garrett, so. Which is nice, it's OEM turbo. Nobody put some Chinese junk in it. But we got this all apart. This is my first time ever taking apart a 6.0 turbo. I will say, there's not too many bolts, as you can see. But man, is this not easy to do. Shout out to this guy, he did help me out a tremendous amount. He just kind of like told me what to do. I got to the bolts. I watched some videos, but it's definitely nice to have someone like, yeah, you know, you got these, the bolts are here, done deal. And to access some of them wasn't the worst. I've definitely had, you know, worse, but to get out the turbo, yeah, it seemed to need both of us. One on the pry bar, and then me, and he was also on it too, but shaking the turbo to release it from that plate right there. It sits in that plate, and then as you can see, that's the drain that sits in the middle of the turbo. So we are going to be getting a brand new turbo tomorrow. Started this because I just wanted to get out of my 9-to-5 as fast as possible. I saw how much money you could make. I had saved up a decent amount of money. I thought it was going to be enough. It was pushing the limit of even being close. You know, I had some help around me, so that was a true blessing. But you know, also allowed it so I didn't have too much capital to be on the road, and it's a dangerous game. You gotta have funds for emergency, you know. And you know, you live and learn. I would say I'm not really learning it. I knew it beforehand. I took the risk. Like I said, sometimes you gotta take a leap into it. And this opportunity came up to, you know, get some dispatchers to pretty much be put on the road like immediately. All I was waiting for was the equipment, so I just sent it and got everything I needed. And yeah, it's tough, but you know, you just gotta really watch your numbers, really watch what you spend, how much you make per trip. And I've been calculating all that. I have time now, so I gotta update my stuff in my computer about all the loads I've been doing. I guess I carry pretty much mostly above 20,000. I was just under probably 19,000, 18,000 once. Every other time was over 20. I would say average was probably like 24,000, 23,000. We had one that was 2 box trucks. I'll put a picture up here. Today out here in Tampa, we're gonna head to North Carolina. Shouts out to my sister for getting me nice and clean. But yeah, look at this. Oh, let me close this door real quick. But yeah, this is definitely the biggest load. Y'all take a guess what this shit weighs. This is definitely close to my limits, but height and weight wise. But yeah, this shit is sick. We still got a bit more space. I figured out for this setup, it's really ideal if you can not put the front of the thing right up against the, that's what I did wrong with the Subaru. That's why it was tucking worse than it is now. And this is definitely a heavier setup we got going. We got some inches, yeah, because we got at the end of the trailer, we can still put the ramps on. Check this out. We're close to about 12.8, 13 foot, and I believe we're grossing right now like 25, maybe 26K, which is crazy. The 6.0, she she got it though. Now, for my honest opinion on do I regret buying a 6.0 Powerstroke to do Hotshot trucking, car hauling in 2026. Verdict, no. Reason being, one, I knew going into it, they're nicknamed the mechanic's truck. If you're mechanically inclined, these are actually not bad diesels to work on. And aside from if you have to pull off the cab, which if you have a certain year, it's not even that bad. My year is not the greatest, but it is what it is. They're mechanically friendly. Yes, they do have their problems and they do break and they do have a big head gasket issue. But if you find one that's maintained well, he knows all the stuff. I talked with the owner for an hour and a half before I even got the truck. So, yeah. And he told me, what filters to put in. He told me when he did them, what he recommends the mileage-wise if you're towing, if you're not. So he's a really cool guy. I knew he knew what he was talking about. Like I said, he upgraded to another 6.0. So that even showed me like, wow, these motors are something. And honestly, their price range is pretty good for a heavy-duty diesel because of their issues, because they do have a lot of hate on the internet about they just break. And even me, I'm not a Ford guy by any means. I actually like Chevy, but you see mainly either Ford or Dodge out here. I don't know why there's a reason you don't see too many Chevys, but there's got to be a reason for it. They have a really good transmission. I'm not sure about their motors. The Duramax I heard are really good. I know decent stuff about like the 2016 ones are pretty good. Aside from that, I think the earlier ones are also well, but also the prices of them. Same with Dodges. They're like 15 grand more. And when I put this all back together, I'm gonna show you, like, it's actually a clean bay, and see if you guys can guess the mileage on it. So, but yeah, verdict, absolutely not. I do not regret it. If I got a Cummins, would I be able to do this? Probably. But I would either have to pick a 12 valve or 24 valve. One, I'm tall. I would have to get a mega cab. That was the biggest one to go to a Dodge. Their normal Ford crew cabs are not big at all. You can barely fit if you're over 6 foot in the back seat without your knees touching the back seat. With this, I can pretty much damn near fit in the back seat without touching my knees against the chair. If there's someone like shorter driving, no, there's so much space. It's uncomfortable, but I can sleep, widthways of the passenger seat. I can't do that in a Dodge. I'd have to be like rolled my whole body up. I have to crunch in this. Yeah, that's why I'm switching to passenger and rear seat, and I'm gonna vlog that too a little bit. See, I just need to pick up the camera and just record. But yeah, so that's coming in the making. I was thinking about making a separate channel. I may still, but for now I'm just gonna put this all on this channel. And yeah, that's why I picked the Ford. They got a really good sized crew cab. Their interiors, again, not to knock on Dodge again, but the interiors, everybody knows they're just trash. Like, to find one with a dash, two uncracked and just now creaks, cracks. Don't get me wrong, there's creaks, cracks in this, but it's definitely tolerable. And the Dodges I've heard, it's absolutely not. And you're still spending 15 grand. Yeah, it's probably pretty stout under the motor, but there has to be a little part of creature comforts, especially you're already getting an older truck. This thing has a touchscreen radio in it. I do need to upgrade the speakers, but they were good when I got it, and I've just been using them pretty a lot. So yeah, that's no big deal. That's just cosmetic stuff. That's another reason why. And again, I would have loved to pick a Chevy, because I think the Chevy insides are pretty good. I was definitely going to be like around the same generation, but people just want an arm and a leg from them. That's just what it is in the market now. So that was pretty much a long verdict of saying, I almost got stuck on the side of the road. Shout out, I think his name is Daniel. Clutch, because like you can just see for yourself. So that was nice. But either way, this was done either here or on the side of the road. And that's that, So it's not all bad. You got to look at it the right way. I could have really been screwed out absolutely in the middle of nowhere. Like I was supposed to be going to Haines City, and around there was no like real any diesel shops out there that I know of. Let alone ones that mess with like older Fords. That was the biggest thing I had calling a bunch of shops, was if they would even touch the Ford. So, and if they did, they wanted like seemed to be double. Yo, I called 7 places total, right? This is another small tangent, but I called 7 places. All asked for the same thing. What is your charge for a diagnostic? The most I got was $300. Insane. For all like less than an hour's worth of work. The least I got was $145. And that was actually the guy I was here at before. He was just rude. Like he told me, yeah, within an hour. Went back in the truck, sat out, waited an hour, walked out, gone. All of his work was gone. Didn't say nothing to me. I was just sitting on the side of the road for a total of like 2 hours for him to just leave. It's just like disrespectful. Like you could have literally took 10 seconds out of your time, like, hey, listen, man, I got some stuff to do. Because it did look like he got some stuff to do. But he told me, yeah, I could check it out in an hour. And then just leaves. Like, who are you if you're not a man about your word? Like, it was just astonishing. But I guess, you know, everything happened for a reason, because I literally came to this spot right after. I had called them before, but I was there. I was at the other shop. So I was wanting to see what they said. And absolute joke. This guy, I'm telling you, independent shops, man, there really are people out there that are good, genuine hearted. And this guy was definitely one of them. So thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, we're gonna get the turbo first thing in the morning, get it back together as fast as I can, doing everything correctly. And hopefully I still have these 2 loads where I can go pick up. If not, we may have to settle for something that doesn't pay as much, but as long as, you know, I can get 2, maybe 3 loads this week, at least 2, it'll be something, and we can just move on to next week and keep grinding. So, but I appreciate all y'all for watching. If you want to help out the channel, just simply like the video, subscribe. It really does greatly help the channel with the algorithms and stuff, how YouTube works. So thank you guys for watching.